All right, welcome back to Distributing Numbers Part 2. You know, I got looking at these, and I want to finish these up with you because they are really tough, and I want to make sure that you've got them down right. So I want to continue on with letter B. If you got them done, great. I want you to check your answers, make sure you got them right. All right, we've got 12 times 2 and 1/4. We can break that down into 12 times 2 plus 12 times 1/4. Okay? 12 times 2, not a problem. 12 and 12 is what? 24. All right? The hard part is at 1/4. Okay? Now, one easier way to do this is anytime you multiply a fraction, and I'm going to write down here for a second, you can always do 12 over 1 times 1/4. And if you multiply across, you would get 12 over 4. Now remember, if you have an improper fraction, you have to divide it so it's not. We don't want to leave an improper fraction. So for this, you would take 12 divided by 4. And you're going to think to yourself, how many times can 4 go into 12? Well, 4, 8, 12, 3 times. So the answer for this part is 3. Now we just simply add 24 plus 3. And you would get 24 plus 3 is 27. So your answer is 27. Okay? Anytime you multiply a whole number by a fraction, you can take that whole number, put it over 1, and multiply straight across. That might be easier than drawing it out for you. You do it whatever way works for you. If you need to draw 12 1/4 and add up the 12 ones, add them up. Okay? The next one involves a nasty old decimal. Decimals. All right, we've got 2 times 3, 6. We can do 2 times 3 plus 2 times 0.6. No fraction involved. We simply have to multiply. All right, 2 times 3, that's the easiest one. We get 6 plus, now we got 2 times 0.6. Well, what's 2 times 6? 12, right? So we can do 12. And then because this is over 1 decimal place, and I'm going to use a different color so you can really see that. Because it's over 1 decimal place, our answer, we have to go over 1 decimal place. So your answer is actually going to be 1.2. Now we add them up. 6 plus 1 is 7. And we have a 0.2 left. So your answer is 7.2. All right? Little tough, but we're going to keep working on them until we get them down, okay? So don't worry about it. If you're not catching on right now, keep going, keep reviewing, and you'll get there. All right, use a distributive property to rewrite this big whopping number. And it shows us here we got an x involved now. X is just we don't know. So they took this number and they broke it down into 2x plus 2 times 3. Your final answer is just going to be 2x plus 6, because you can do 2 times 3, but that x, we don't even know what it is, so we can't multiply anything. It just stays 2x. Okay? So, if we go a little bit further down, okay, hold on a second. Give us a little more room. I like the arrow method if we use the arrow method. So, if you have 8, I arrow over to both, and it reminds me of what to do. So, I can do 8 times x plus 8 times 3. Okay? X, we don't even know what it is. So there's nothing we can do there. Okay? So 8 times x is just going to be 8x plus 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. Your answer is going to be 8x plus 24. I know it feels like you need to figure something out here. There's nothing to figure out. If there's an x involved there, you can't just add them together and throw an x after it. If there was an x after 24, you could. But because we don't have that x on the second number, you can't combine them. All right? It's like 2 people with 2 different last names. They might act like brother and sisters, but you can't live in the same house all the time. All right? Let's try this one. 5 times 9 and 5 times x. We're just breaking it down. 5 times 9 plus 5 times x. Okay, what is 5 times 9? 45 plus 5 times x can only be 5x. And that is your final answer. Again, can't combine these things because there's no x after 45. So it has to stay, that's your final answer. There's no more figuring it out than that. Okay? 2 times x and 2 times 3. 2 times x plus 2 times 3. All right, 2 times x would be what? If you said 2x, you are on the money. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Your final answer? 2x plus 6. Okay? Again, these are a little complicated. We're going to go over them a couple of days. If you're not catching on, don't stress. It is a little complicated to figure out, so I don't want you to stress out about it, but we're going to move on. So I'm erasing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure you got it all down. If you didn't, hopefully you paused by now, because I don't want you to keep moving on without having something written down. All right. Okay. So here they talk about the greatest common factor, and that sometimes it helps to find the greatest common factor of two numbers, because that shows you how you can break it down. All right? So if you have a number like this, if you find your greatest common factor, you know that 3 goes into 15, so you can actually take this complicated thing and break it down into this. So 3x plus 15 can actually be broken down into 3 times x plus 3 times 15. And if you do that, your final answer would just be 3x plus 15. So let's look at this one. 16 plus 4x. We need to think of a number that goes into both 4 and 16. Now, you can take the time to do your greatest common factor, or think to yourself, would this number go into this number? Can I put 4 into 16? 4, 8, 12, 16. I can. So I can actually break this down into 4 times x plus 4 times, and what would you have to multiply? What would you have to multiply to get that? Four times 4. Doesn't 4 times 4 give you 16? Sure. So we can say 4x plus 16. All right? All right. We're going to move on tomorrow, and we're going to be going through some more problems. I'm just looking ahead now. And you know what? I got to be honest, I didn't set this up right. I did not do that right, because what we should have done is broken it down, and I'm going to back up. I apologize. This is my fault. We should have broken it down into 4 times 4 plus x. That would have been the same thing, and I really wrote that sloppy. Let me try again. 4 times 4 plus x, which would still have gotten you 16 plus 4x, but that's actually what they're looking for. So for this one, they would want you to do 7 can go into 42. So they would want you to put 7 on the outside, 7 times x plus, what would you do 7 times to get 42? If you said 6, you're right. So 7x, 7 times x plus 7 times 6 is 42. So you're breaking it down backwards, okay? 36 and 30. Think of a number that can go into both of those. Think of a number that can go into both of those. How about 6? What if we put 6 on the outside? What times 6 gives you 36? 6. So we can make 6x plus what times 6 gives you 30? 5. So your answer would be 6x plus 5. This one is really complicated and it's tough. I want you to go ahead and stop there. Tomorrow we're going to try this guided practice together. All right? Have a great day. Make great choices.